The new Google Home Mini has a massive problem, and it isn't even out yet. It was released to reporters for free last week to test it out. One journalist discovered his device recorded everything in earshot and uploaded it. Google now says it has fixed the software bug. This raises pretty big questions. I'm joined by Samuel Burke. And Samuel, I've got to think this is terrible publicity for Google.
Absolutely. It feels like an episode straight out of Black Mirror, that utopian, dystopian series on Netflix, and definitely really a nightmare PR scenario for any of the tech companies making these voice-enabled smart speakers. Just remember, whether it's Amazon Echo or Google Home in this case, they have incredibly powerful microphones that are only supposed to be listening to you as far away as possible in your home once you say the wake word, whether it's Alexa or OK Google, or if you push a button on the device. Now, in this case, this tech blogger actually went onto his Google account and found thousands of recordings of him in his home, but he hadn't pushed the button and he hadn't said the wake word. So Google now acknowledges that there is an issue with the button on the Google Mini, and they've issued a patch for it. But I think this really brings this all into question of having a very powerful microphone in your house. You probably wouldn't go to bed with a powerful webcam aimed at your bed. And I think it also draws attention to the fact that so many people don't realize that whether it is the Amazon Echo or the Google Home, that it's actually keeping a recording of you and saving it in the cloud so that you can go back and review it. The companies can't, but you can. And I think it really goes to show a little problem could have huge repercussions using these devices.
Yeah, I mean, it's like inviting a spy into your house or a stranger to sit on your desk. It's so creepy, Samuel. You know, you and I talk all the time. Where are we? Because there is a sort of tech gadget arms race when it comes to these assistants, these voice-activated assistants.
All these tech companies are pouring tons of money and resources into making these devices right now after Amazon really had this breakout success with the Amazon Echo. Let me just put the numbers on the screen to show you where the market stands right now, because it's really just a two-horse game in the sense that it's only Amazon and Google, but Amazon has 76% of market share. Google has 24% of market share. But Apple and Microsoft have also announced that they're going to have their own speakers. But what I hear from a lot of privacy advocates, they say that they are fearful that these companies are putting the cart before the horse in a race to get this technology out there without people realizing the ramifications out there. There, of course, are fears about spies, foreign governments, maybe your own government using any type of technology to eavesdrop on its citizens, on adversaries. And so, of course, the same has to be wondered about these devices. And what so many of these organizations worry about is if people have stopped and thought about the consequences of having a very powerful microphone in your house and what would happen if somebody hacked it the way that so many, if not all other devices have shown to be hacked.
Absolutely, Sam. I mean, this is always something I've worried about. And I think that if you're in a self-driving car, we hear this issue come up all the time. This is especially sensitive because it's in your home where you are, believe you have some sense of privacy when you are yourself. And to have the idea that someone is sort of listening in all the time and it's being stored someplace, this seems to raise those same old questions. And I think the technology companies have not done a great job deciding where they fall on this. Is how protected are those conversations? Can someone find out everything about you? What if somebody requests it? Where does it fall in criminal investigations? I mean, they're just endless questions that don't seem like they've been addressed as they're rushing all these things into homes.
And they're not even explaining some of the most simple functions here. Getting back to the fact that there are these audio recordings, even people that I've talked with who are very familiar with their Amazon Echo or their Google Home, which is, of course, the only thing that's the problem here. It's not Amazon Echo in this case. They're unaware of the fact that these recordings are saved, and they're unaware of the fact that they have the option to disable those recordings. Now, it's funny for me sometimes. I go back and listen to my fiance, who is French speaking, and they have some arguments sometimes, my fiance with the French accent and Alexa, and I go back and I like to poke fun at him and listen to some of those conversations they have. But imagine if that were triggered somehow in a conversation that you didn't want somebody listening to. Lord knows not everybody's marriage is perfect. So imagine if some of those conversations were somehow accidentally, in the case of this technology, listened to and then recorded, saved on the cloud, and then your cloud is hacked. And I think it's this type of education that people need to know, that there are controls out there. You can set different settings on these devices, and you really don't want your marital problems out there. So at least have some education about what you can do with these devices to take control. I would say ownership, but we already own them, to take control over these devices.